Coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, it's finally over. President Trump has signed legislation to fund and reopen our government. The bill keeps the government open through the end of January, though, funding SNAP and other programs. We will have those details ahead for you in just a moment. Plus, House Democrats released a series of emails from sex offender Jeffrey Epstein referencing President Trump. The deceased offender, referred to 47 as the dog that hasn't barked yet. But what do these emails really show? We have coverage on that just ahead. Also later, life after shutdown. House GOP Majority Leader Steve Scalise outlined what Republicans plan to accomplish in the months and weeks ahead. We're going to unpack all of that. Those stories, so much more, as the American Sunrise second hour starts right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
We have breaking news to share with you.
politics,
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
we've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back to this second hour of American Sunrise. I'm Terrence Bates. As always, it is good to see you on this Thursday morning. Coming to you from a chilly Denver, Colorado. Let's bring in Dr. Gina and Emily Fenn. They are both in the Palm Beaches, where it's my understanding it's also a little chilly this morning. Nanny, boo-boo, it ain't just me. Good morning, ladies.
It's raining iguanas, so I wore my iguana-colored sweater, because it is a sweater, by the way, and it's not every day you wear a sweater, right? Emily's in a sweater also. It's not every day you wear a sweater in Florida, but we are sweaters on sweaters here right now, Terrence, with iguanas whacking us on the head.
You know, instead of checking the weather in the morning, I just look outside and see if there's any iguanas. Oh, then I know I have to wear a sweater that day.
There you go. No need for a meteorologist. Just check to see where the iguanas are. Well, look, ladies, the federal government is back open this morning. Workers at most, if not all, federal agencies are expected back on the job today. Immediately after the House passed the stopgap funding measure to end the longest shutdown in U.S. history, President Trump then signed that bill into law. The government will now stay open at least until January 30th. China says it will do its part to fight the deadly scourge of fentanyl that claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of Americans last year. FBI Director Kash Patel says his Chinese counterpart has agreed to crack down on the chemicals that are used to make the deadly drug. Director Patel also saying, quote, "We are dismantling the infrastructure that fuels this crisis at its source." And Boeing is set to pay more than $28 million in damages to the family of a United Nations environmental worker who was killed in the 2019 crash of a 737 MAX jet in Ethiopia. It's the first of dozens of lawsuits against the airplane maker related to the deadly crashes in Ethiopia as well as Indonesia. The suits claim that Boeing's design of the plane was defective and that the company failed to warn passengers. In all, 346 people died. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now, let's get a quick check of your forecast. Meteorologist Tracy Anthony joining us there in the Palm Beaches, where it's a little chilly. But Tracy, my favorite time of the morning, our hometown forecast. What do you have for us?
Yeah, you know, I even learned where a few of these cities are as well. So cities I hadn't even heard of. But Menominee, Michigan, actually just a little north of Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's kind of the biggest major metro to kind of put it on a map for you. 49 degrees. Notice those temperatures. We're continuing to dig out after that Arctic blast of air. Down in Jacksonville, it's a similar situation. We are having those temperatures that are going to get back into the 80s by next week. So this one coming in via Getter here this morning. Beautiful, though. High pressure in control, so we're staying nice and dry. And really dry weather conditions is kind of the big story for most areas. Bandera, Texas, this coming in from Roz on Getter. Your temperatures are going to be near record breaking, getting close to 90 degrees by the weekend. And it's not just areas of Texas, it's really all across the Central Plains. So we could have a handful of heat records over the weekend. The only place that we're really going to be dealing with a lot of snow and a lot of rain is out across the Intermountain West and the coastal areas, as we have several systems that will impact us into the weekend. And Southern California likely to be dealing with some flooding, some mudslide potential, so could have some dangerous impacts across parts of the West Coast over the weekend. So Terrence, those are the kind of the big stories. It's the heat and then the West Coast rain and snow.
Tracy, you know I'm all about the heat. Let me go on and book my flight there to the Midwest and the central part of the country today so I can go to the heat.
Yeah.
Always good to see you, Tracy. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And folks, you see the QR code there at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and scan that and join our friends over at WeatherNation. All right, let's get you over to Emily Finn now. Emily, good morning.
I didn't hear anything about iguanas there. I needed to know about the iguanas in Florida. We'll have to ask Tracy next time. All right, President Trump did sign legislation Wednesday night putting an end to the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The measure allocates funds for government programs, including SNAP, as well as reserves layoffs and pays federal employees for their absence. Here was the president signing the bill last night. Take a look at this.
With my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans.
Reaction is Rev Chief White House Correspondent Brian Glenn. Brian, always great to see you. The government is finally open for business, but the fight opened a lot of wounds. Who would you say are the biggest winners and the biggest losers from all of this?
Well, good morning. I think the biggest winner in all this is the American people, that we get the government back open to continue executing on President Trump's America First agenda. So I think that's the big win. Now, obviously, House Republicans able to stand strong against this resistance, this Schumer shutdown. So you can say that this was definitely a Republican win. And the loser, I think you have to pin that on the Democrats for continuing to hold out on something they have voted for over and over again. Republicans staying strong on their principle and their values in that budget. But the big winner, I would say, would be the American people, that we are now, obviously, you've got hundreds of thousands of federal employees now going to get their paycheck and get the back pay that was withheld as well. They get to go forward with that. So that's the big winner, Emily, I think, would be the American people.
Hey, Brian, Democrats have released a series of emails from Jeffrey Epstein mentioning President Trump. It's obviously something that yesterday's press briefing, a lot of questions about that. House Speaker Mike Johnson now saying there will be a vote next week to release more files related to Epstein. How is the White House responding to all of this? We, of course, heard from Caroline Leavitt saying that basically this is simply a Democrat hoax. What's the next step? How do you see all of this ultimately playing out?
Yeah, Terrence, she did mention it yesterday in the press briefing that it was simply a distraction to what the president is trying to achieve with the America First agenda and all the wins that we are having. Now, with that said, those emails that were released, they plucked out 3 emails out of 60,000 plus documents, kind of cherry picked, if you would. And even the individual that's mentioned in that email went under oath and said that President Trump in no way at all had any connection to these women or any of the mischievous actions from Jeffrey Epstein and others. So President Trump has been absolutely clear from any wrongdoing in these emails in regards to Jeffrey Epstein, but yet that's continue to be a big distraction, as the president calls it, as far as going forward and getting the eye off the ball is winning for the American people and doing this American First agenda. Now, what lies ahead? Speaker Johnson saying that, maybe some action in the near future as far as releasing additional documents. I know that that is certainly in the works, and I know that American people want to do it, but I can't say enough that this absolutely does not imply that President Trump, either former president or even President Trump, and President Trump now, current sitting president, had anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein in relation to any kind of mischievous activities with those young girls.
Well, I do hope that Republicans will release the rest of it, Brian, so that we could just honestly make sure that the people responsible for this that are still alive are held accountable. I think that would totally exonerate any mention of any Republicans in this whatsoever, or punish the Republicans that had anything to do with it. But it's such an ongoing saga, such a sort of a thorn in the side. I kind of wish that Republicans would jump on the bandwagon of let's just release it all and unredact it all and get it over with. Tina Peters this morning, it is reported, is having health troubles, and they're worried that it is a recurring lung cancer that she had from before, Brian. I personally am just very concerned about Tina Peters. I don't understand why she's still in prison. Yeah. Brian, have you heard any updates on this?
No, but that is actually on my list of things to ask.
How did I know that?
As of lately, just yeah. Well, and by the way, I did ask the privatization of TSA, and he said that obviously everything they look into for doing that. So that will be on my list. And it's also, when you look at all these other pardons, well, you're welcome. When you look at all the pardons that President Trump has done here recently, I think one of the most important pardons he can do right now is Tina Peters. This woman absolutely stood on the sword in terms of rooting out the fraud and abuse in the whole election process there in Colorado. She was a true patriot. She's been campaigning for the president both terms, out on the road, doing whatever she can, knocking on doors, putting out signs. She is absolutely an America First President Trump fan. I think something needs to happen here now. I know it's a state level, so I know there's only so much he can do, but maybe he can put some pressure on the state officials there in Colorado to do something, because there's not a single patriot watching this broadcast right now wants to see Tina Peters remain in jail, especially as she is dealing with some health issues. It's something that needs to happen sooner than later.
Gold Star mom, by the way. I just want to say that I cannot believe she's a Gold Star mom going through this.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Brian, want to get back to the government. I'm sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just going to say, I agree. It's actually shameful that she's still in prison.
Want to just get back to the government shutdown really quickly. At this point, any idea when these government workers are going to start getting their paychecks and their back pay? And point 1A to that question is there concern within the White House that we're going to be back here in the same position January 30th, particularly since Democrats really don't have a platform here? Their only idea is to try to derail President Trump at every possible corner.
Yeah, I was told yesterday that it would take about 2 to 3 kind of business days to kind of get that back in the system and get these people paid. Now, whether or not that happens by Friday, by Monday morning, that's we'll find out. In terms of the second half of that question, you want me to be truthful with you, or you want me to just kind of give you a standard?
You know me, Brian. Keep it real. Yes, please.
I think we're back at it. I literally have very little faith in the fact that we will get these appropriations. We'll get, we had 8-9 months to prevent what's just happened. Look, it's Washington, D.C., and you know what? We have a very short window right now to get this President Trump's America First agenda codified into law. And if we don't get stuff through the rules, get on the floor for a vote, if it fails, it fails, but we want to know whose name's on them that fails. So to go back to the question, I certainly hope we're not in this situation by the end of January. But looking at the track record, we could be.
All right, Brian Glenn, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Always appreciate your insight.
Thanks, B.
Thanks, B.
Thank you.
Coming up, why investing in precious metals like gold could be the smartest financial decision you could make this year. That's next, after the break. Stay with us.